July is promising to be the month of changes. All the planets have decided to do something or the other. So here we go, predictions for July. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudhary. Welcome to my channel and a very warm namaste. Aham Brahmasmi. First thing that I have to do is wish all my viewers that have July birthdays a very, very happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day, but I also hope you have a wonderful year ahead of you. May you always stay blessed. I wish you happiness, success, and a good health year for you. Now, all those people that have August birthdays, make sure you put in your comments if you have an August birthday, and I'll wish you on my August prediction video as well. That's something new that I'm starting to do. I always wanted to do it, but I always forgot. But now I've remembered, so I'm always going to do it. Anyway, my July birthday people, have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Let's take a look at all the planetary action in July. Like I mentioned, every planet wants to do something in July. So the first change that's going to happen towards, it's actually going to be the end of June. So June 30th, Mars is going to move from Cancer. It's going to go into Leo. And thank God for that, because it was in the nakshatra of Ashlesha and it was debilitated. So finally it crosses over to Leo, gets out of debilitation, and thank God for that. It was getting all of us a little frustrated with some repressed anger issues as well. So that's good news. Then on July 7th, Mercury is also going to move, and it's going to go into the next zodiac sign of Cancer. Now, it's also going to be combust at the same time, though. Now, Mercury has decided it's going to move a little too fast for all of us. So on July 7th, it goes into Cancer, only going to stay there for a very short time, and then July 26th rushes into Leo. It's like nobody's business. It's just moving fast. And this fast movement is also making it combust. So it's going to be combust from June 19th. It's already combust as we speak, and it's going to be combust till July 13th. So thank God it gets out of combustion in the middle of the month. Middle of the month, we always have a transit of the sun. So the sun on July 16th goes into Cancer as well. Now, the major drama is going to be coming from our favorite planet, Venus. Now, Venus was in Ashlesha. It was very troubled because, you know, nobody likes being in Ashlesha. It's a troubled nakshatra because it's a Gandanta nakshatra. A Gandanta nakshatra is the one that comes in between a fire and a water sign. So it was between Cancer and Leo. And so on July 6th, finally Venus crosses over. So Venus has been hanging out with Mars, and then it does the same thing. So Mars crosses on July 7th, but Venus actually crosses on July 6th. So it crosses the Gandant of, goes from Cancer to Leo. It's going to stay in Leo till August 6th. But what's going to happen, as you know, very quickly after it goes into Leo, it's going to go into a retrograde motion on July 22nd. So crosses over for a few days, and then it starts its retrograde motion. Now, poor Venus, what it's going to do is hanging out in Leo. It doesn't mind being in Leo because it's kind of friendly with the sun. Then it starts a retrograde motion. And then later, after August, it's going to go back into the Gandant of Cancer. And so the major drama that we're going to see over the next couple of months is going to be through Venus, believe it or not. You know, we always think Venus is all about good things, but now this time, July and August is going to be a little trouble from Venus. So Venus represents our relationships. Venus also represents the money we earn, our relationship, and how we deal with finance. So we're going to be a little challenged in that respect. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But this is what Venus is going to do. So first it was troubled by being in Ashlesha last month in June. Now it decides to cross the Gandant, thinking, oh my God, I need to get over this spiritual crossing of the Gandant. It happily sits in Leo, and then it starts the retrograde motion. As I've mentioned before several times, a retrograde planet means that it's very, very close to the Earth. It doesn't start actually moving backwards. So Venus is going to be very close to the Earth, and it's going to be retrograde and then in the future months it's going to cross the Gandant again, and I'll talk about that in another month. But just understand that this is a time when we're going to be a little troubled by Venus. And one of the major events that's already happened, but they happened at the end of June, is that Jupiter, who's been hanging out in Aries for a very long time, it was in the nakshatra of Ashwini. Ashwini is ruled by Ketu, has gladly changed its nakshatra. It's gone to the next nakshatra of Bharani. Bharani is ruled by Venus. And here's Venus being troubled. So Jupiter happy to be in the nakshatra of Venus, but now Venus gets a little troubled. So we were expecting to see very good results when Jupiter finally got out of Ketu's nakshatra, and now here's Venus getting a little bit troubled. But even then, Jupiter is going to start giving us some good impact. And also on the end of June, on June 26th, Ketu, who was in the nakshatra of Swati, Swati being ruled by Rahu, now moves into the nakshatra of Chitra. And so Chitra is ruled by Mars. So the good news, the very good news for July is that Mars is no longer debilitated, and both Jupiter and Ketu are out of the nakshatras of Rahu and Ketu. Now, all these prior months, there were so many planets in the nodes, in the nakshatras that were ruled by the nodes, Rahu and Ketu. So what they were doing was giving sudden events. Unpredictability is what the nodes signify. All of a sudden, things that were coming out of nowhere. The nodes signify our karmic events, and so also they signify suddenness. So because there were so many planets in the nakshatras that were ruled by the nodes, all of us were getting troubled by all these karmic events that were happening, and they were happening quite suddenly in our lives. So now there's a lot of planets that are out of these nakshatras, the troubled nakshatras of the nodes, and now they're in a little better nodes. So I'm going to talk about that in a little more detail, but I think that July is looking a lot more positive than the prior months are. A lot of people have been commenting on my prior months' predictions that everything looks so dismal, everything looks so gloomy. But you know what? The time has come when a lot of the ascendants are probably going to see a lot better results this month in July. So when I was doing my predictions, a lot more happier ascendants, I think, in July. So one of the things that I did want to talk about in this video is Jupiter's changing of the nakshatra in Bharani. I didn't get a chance to make a video on Jupiter's change to Bharani. I just thought I'd incorporate it into this video. So let's just talk about the nakshatra Bharani very quickly, and so you'll kind of get a flavor for how things change in the future months. So the nakshatra Bharani, it's the second nakshatra of the 27 nakshatras, and the ruling god of Bharani is the god Yama. Yama is the god of death, and it is also known as Dharamraj. And in this case, dharma means not the religious dharma, but it means following somebody that monitors, following the moral code of behavior that we all follow, following rules and regulations. So the god of death also monitors how we follow the moral code of conduct, how our behavior follows the rules and regulations, and how we behave and follow all the our obligations to society, as well as to the people that we're obliged to in this lifetime. And Jupiter is also the significator of spirituality, and not only spirituality, but also just doing things the right way and always following the right path. So they kind of go hand in hand. So Jupiter is very conducive to the energy of Bharani. The main signification of Bharani is death, but it doesn't mean actual physical death. It could mean that, but in this case, we're not talking about the physical death. Bharani actually signifies death, but it also signifies rebirth. So the major signification of Bharani that we take away is transformation. And so now when Jupiter goes into the nakshatra of Bharani, which means transformation, and it also means following the right code of conduct, a lot of people at this time, during this next phase of Jupiter being in Bharani, may find that they undergo a very positive transformation in their lives. Of course, it's very dependent on where Jupiter is placed in your own birth chart and the planets that are aspecting it. But in general, when Jupiter goes into Bharani, it denotes transformation of our own self, where we all of a sudden realize that the best path may be to follow the right path, to follow the moral code of conduct. In the past, if we've been doing things not so well or not correctly, or if we've not handled our relationships well, because don't forget, it is ruled by Venus, so Venus rules our relationships. So in the past, if we have not dealt with with our relationships correctly, if we've not valued those relationships correctly, this is the time where we transform ourselves and we take a good look at ourselves. We reassess ourselves, we reassess our relationships and decide that there's going to be some transformation within us that we need to have, so that going forward, we follow the right way in handling relationships. So this is a very, very important thing that has happened. I think it's a very positive thing in terms of the whole world and how we have become as individuals, where a lot of people, they don't handle relationships well. Sometimes we take a more selfish approach. But now with this transfer, with this transit of Jupiter in Bharani, I think it's a very positive one. I think a lot of us should take the guidance where we self-assess. We don't always blame other people and say, well, the relationship didn't work because the other person was wrong, or the other person didn't do certain things, or it's always the other person, it's never us. And now this is the time when we self-assess, we self-introspect. At the same time, Venus is in a troubled state, so I mentioned that already, and this is the guidance then, where Venus is saying, you need to self-assess. The retrograde of Venus actually means where you reflect back on the past. So retrograde always means something from the past. So what we do now is we reflect back on the past to see how we have been in our relationships. Where did we make the mistakes? And then, these birds are gonna kill me. So, and then we reflect back on the past, and then we transform ourselves. We become new people in relationships. We handle our relationships as newer people, as better people. So that's the energy of Venus going into Bharani, and with this trouble of Venus, that's the guidance that I can give you. Utilize this energy really well. That's the energy of the universe, and that's what it's trying to guide us to do. So when I've made my predictions, I've kind of incorporated the energy of the trouble of Venus as well as Jupiter, being in Bharani. So that's the guidance that I can give you. The other thing I just quickly want to touch on is that Ketu has moved into the nakshatra of Chitra. Chitra being ruled by Mars. Mars is in Leo. Now Chitra represents the word Chitra means a picture. So people that have a lot of planets in Chitra usually are very good with their hands. They're very good artistically with their hands. They could be very good painters, musicians, playing instruments. And so, like I said, Mars is your physical body, but Chitra has something to do with your hands. So you could have a lot of artistic people that have Chitra nakshatras. So now with Ketu going in there, and it signifies that a lot of new hobbies, people that used to practice hobbies related to, painting, the arts, playing instruments, may now think about those and then bring them back in their lives. In fact, if you used to do that, it's a wonderful time to bring back that hobby into your life again. So it signifies that, we reflect back. These are karmic things that we have, the karmic talents that we have. Ketu is a karmic planet. So things that we bring back from our past life, the ability to paint well, or play an instrument really well. These are things that we may have learned in a past life that we bring back this talent in our life. So right now, if you want to utilize the energy of Ketu really well, and if you used to do that at a long time ago, or even if you do that right now, I think you should explore that potential right now and practice it fully. I think it's going to be a very, very positive time for those kind of people that either have a Chitra nakshatra in their birth charts, or They used to do that in the past, but have forgotten because they're so busy, and then sometimes you forget to do, practice these creative things that used to practice a long time ago. So I'm going to share something very personal that happened to me. So many years ago, I used to make handmade jewelry just for fun because I just love jewelry, as if you can't tell. But I haven't made it for many years because I just got so busy, didn't have time for it. It was just a hobby. And I don't have any planets in the nakshatra of Chitra. And so all my beads and jewelry making supplies are just packed away and put away in the storage in the garage. So, but instinctively a few weeks ago, I just on a whim decided, I just got up and pulled out all my stuff and I started to make a few things because I just wanted to do that. And that's when I realized, oh my God, Ketu is just moved into the nakshatra of Chitra, and now I'm working with my hands and creating something beautiful that I think is beautiful. Maybe others don't, but I started to do that. And so this is the power of the nakshatras and the planets. And I'm not even under the antardasha dashas of Ketu or Mars. So, but instinctively this energy has started to make me do that. I wasn't even thinking about Chitra, or I just instinctively one day I said, well, why have I stopped doing that? And on the weekend I started to do that. So I just wanted to tell you how powerful these energies are, and how even if you're not under the dashas or antardashas of certain planets, but they can certainly have an impact on you during this time. So I urge people that have had these hobbies to bring them back into your life. One of the things that I do want to say is practicing a hobby that gives you happiness activates your fifth house. And the fifth house is a house of recovery, recovery from any illnesses. And it's also the house of happiness. So when we start practicing any hobbies, anything that we love to do, music, sports, crafts, anything like that, it helps us recover from any illnesses that we have. It's definitely the house of recovery. So I always constantly tell people that I talk to, or maybe some clients even, to always make sure you're practicing something like a hobby that gives you internal joy and happiness, because it helps you recover from your own sicknesses, from your own mental issues where you feel depressed. It helps you recover very quickly from that. The fifth house also denotes spirituality or happiness, inner joy. So always try to have something like that you do. And now that Ketu has gone into Chitra, what better time than to start something now? Even if you didn't have a hobby before, now is a great time to have or start something new. It would just go so well, based on the energy of the universe. I move on to predictions. My predictions are always based on Vedic astrology calculations, and they're always based on your rising sign, not your sun sign, not Western astrology. So make sure you listen to the right section. Also, this is general predictions. Actual predictions are always going to be based on your own personal birth chart and the dasha, mahadasha that you're currently experiencing. And how can I forget that if you haven't subscribed, please, please, please do subscribe to my channel. My viewers are growing. You guys are amazing. You've been loyal supporters. So thank you very much for that. But if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and please do share this video with friends and family. If you like my video, give me a like. Aries, for July. Aries, your ascendant Lord Mars is finally out of debilitation, and now it's going to be in your fifth house with Venus. This is great news on several fronts. If you were previously feeling mentally stressed, expect a lot of relief. Also, if there was some tension in relationships at home, this month now is going to be so much more happier. If there was any promotion or recognition you were hoping for, this is a good month for that. Towards the end of the month, Venus is going to be retrograde. It's also going to be in a little disturbed state after that. And that's going to make you a little obsessive about how you spend. It's also going to make you obsessive about relationships. And this make you prone to spending a lot on relationships, children, your love life. So this might be the month where you think about money management and also curb your impulsive spending. The Venus retrograde, as well as the conjunction with Mars in the fifth house, may cause things that were hidden from you in the past that now surface. This could also just be your feelings that you weren't aware of in relationships, and that now you come to terms with, or now you realize or reassess your relationships at this time. This could also relate to your children, relationships with them or things about your children, your feelings about your children that you weren't aware of, or you reassess your relationships with children, and things that you weren't aware of that now you become aware of, or you reassess your relationship with your children. And now you may start treating them or handling the relationship a little different. This could also mean that any past creative hobbies or artistic talents that you had in the past, you now feel like doing them again or following them again. So by all means do that. It's going to be a wonderful time for that as well. So if you were ever interested or used to do painting, things with your hands, arts, music, anything like that, you may start to or get interested in that again. Health remains good because the fifth house is active, which is a house of recovery. So you may be bothered by small annoying issues like colds and allergies, but certainly nothing bad. And this is a month of recovery in general. So even if you do get a minor issue, it doesn't last. And more importantly, if you had any prior health concerns, this month you can expect to see some recovery from that. After mid-month, when the sun moves to the fourth house, it gives you a lot of good visibility at work and recognition at work as well. So there's an excellent chance of that. So make sure you, keep up the effort at work. Make sure your performance is very good because you're going to get noticed by your seniors. The one thing I do need to caution you about after mid-month is make sure that you don't have ego at home. You don't start telling people what to do in the household and bossing people around. For people that don't work, this is a very good month where you're going to have lots of energy at home to get all your tasks done, and you're going to feel very good about it. You're going to have a lot of positivity within the household, getting things accomplished. So this is a month of good energy and getting a lot of things accomplished. If there was things that you wanted to do, get completed in the household, after mid-month, that's an excellent time to start doing that and working on all the things that we're waiting to get done. Aries, this is a very positive month for you in terms of your energy recovery and getting things accomplished and feeling good about yourself. Taurus, for July. Taurus, your ascendant Lord Venus transits to the fourth house, meets up with Mars, and Venus is going to be in a little bit of a challenging situation itself because it crosses the Gandant and then it goes retrograde later in the month. And so this trouble energy of Venus is actually going to transfer over to you because it is your ascendant Lord. So it's going to cause a little bit of mental stress and also some challenges with relationships at home. Mars and Venus together are going to aspect Saturn, and that's going to be in your house of career. Taurus has been waiting for a long time to get good results in their career, and Saturn is retrograde. So here we have a retrograde Venus aspecting a retrograde Saturn, both aspecting the house of career. So there's a chance, the possibility of some past issues coming up in your career that you now need to take care of before you're able to move forward or get any rewards or recognition. And this is going to cause a little bit of delay in Taurus getting what they want in terms of career, as far as finance or material rewards, or as far as any recognition or promotions is concerned. There may be some past issues that are brought up by your seniors and they ask you to complete things. This can be a little frustrating for Taurus because they've been waiting so long, but there may be issues from the past, things that you did in the past that keep coming up. It's also possible that if that doesn't happen, then some co-workers from the past come up and come back into your life in a positive or a challenging way, and then that may impact your life at this time too. Jupiter is now in the nakshatra of Venus as well, and so there's a very good chance that a lot of Taurians have to travel a lot for business purposes. All your travel houses are getting impacted, so Taurians can expect to travel a lot. Also, the Taurians that are involved with anything to do with overseas and foreign countries will tend to do very well in their work. And business owners that were wanting to expand their business into overseas markets, this is a wonderful time to do that as well. Expenses for a Taurus continues to be high, but a lot of Taurians may actually purchase either real estate or something to do with relocating or buying a home, or a large ticket item like a car or something like that. And some Taurus may spend a lot of money on things to do with the household, like household items or renovating a house, or, generally things that expenses that relate to within the household. Health is a lot better now, especially in the second half when Sun is in the third house. It gives a lot more energy and enthusiasm, and it also provides good recovery if you were experiencing any health issues previously. The one caution I do have for Taurus is that your relationships could be a little challenged this month, especially with your spouse and also at work. And this could be as a result of a lack of understanding and between you, and also your communication could get a little sarcastic and aggressive or bossy, especially in the first half of the month. So watch your behavior, your communication at home, in the workplace. So as long as you manage your behavior, your attitude, don't come across as aggressive, bossy, and you manage your communication, keep it pleasant, things should be okay. But otherwise, if you do come across as aggressive, bossy, you could ruin some relationships. Gemini, for July. Gemini, your ascendant Lord Mercury is going to be in the second house of finance and family. And here we go, Rahu and Jupiter are already in the 11th house of gains. So both the finance and wealth houses are being activated really well this month with good energy. So this is going to be a wonderfully good finance month. After mid-month, it's even a little more positive. So business owners, this is a favorable month in terms of profits as well. There's even an excellent chance of getting good gains from any real estate transactions, or for those people that have rental income, this is an excellent month for that as well. So if you were looking to make a real estate transaction, this might be a very good month as well. So I know Gemini has had some health issues, but from a health perspective, Mars now goes into the third house and it gives great energy and initiative, not only to start new things and ideas, but also wonderfully great recovery energy as well. So if you had any health issues, wow, this comes a month where you can get actually very good energy to recover. And the magic remedy for recovery from any health issues is to start any kind of a physical regimen. It could be a light regimen like going for a daily walk or just a little bit of light yoga, or you can actually just join a gym and get into very heavy workout. But whatever it is that you do, this is going to help you tremendously because Mars does aspect the sixth house, and recovery is imminent if you follow a good physical exercise regimen. On the career front, there is the possibility of new opportunities coming up. You may get noticed in the workplace by your seniors, especially in the first half of the month when the sun is shining in your ascendant house. Business owners have good prospects of expanding their business this month or initiating new ideas into their business. Or even if they pursue new lines of business, it's going to be a profitable time to do that. On the challenging side, Venus is going through a very difficult time with the retrograde. So Venus rules the house of children and love relationships. So there could be some issues that surface now that you have to deal with as far as relationships with children is concerned. You may also have to deal with some past issues with siblings or your relationship with siblings that you have to deal with, some challenges related to that. There could be past issues that surface, or you may take a new perspective on your relationship with children or with siblings at this time and reassess how you feel about those relationships and how you're going to deal with them going forward. The Saturn retrograde combined with the Venus retrograde may also bring up some old issues regarding in-laws and finance in your life. It could be that some old issues now surface, or there could be some old matters that get brought back up again and need to get either discussed or resolved. Some Geminis will be taking short trips, pleasurable trips this month, but some Geminis may also be planning or taking trips for religious purposes or spiritual purposes. Saturn in the ninth house may also have some people that will take a trip for learning purposes or for educational purposes or expanding their skill set. So this is a positive time for that as well. So if you're offered the opportunity to take a trip for those kind of purposes, by all means go for it. It will have very good results in the long term. Cancer for July. Cancer, this month in your ascendant house, you have Mercury rushing through it very quickly. And then mid-month, the sun makes an appearance in your ascendant house as well. So the focus this month is going to be on lots of hard work, effort, And then also you're going to be very focused on finance and wealth and income this month. After the second half of the month, you're going to be in the spotlight. You're going to be the center of attention in your family as well as at work. So you're going to get lots of attention from them. The focus is also going to be your relationship with your siblings. And the challenge comes in because there's a retrograde Venus with Mars in the second house of family and finance. And Venus makes you look and reassess your relationships within your family. And this is probably what causes you to be the center of attention within your family and with your siblings. So you reassess your relationships within your family. So there could be issues from the past that get brought up that now have to get talked about. There could be things that, that come to the surface that were hidden previously within the family, within relationships. And this is what gets brought up and discussed. And that's why you become the center of attention somewhat. And then you become the focus also somewhat within family, within sibling relationships. And so this is what the energy of July. I don't think it's a troubling energy. I think it's just the energy where you reassess yourself. And then you take a fresh look at how you fit into the family relationships as far as finance is concerned, as far as resources is concerned, and how you fit into the family dynamics. So I'm definitely not saying this is bad energy. I'm just saying this is a time of change and reassessment where you kind of reassess yourself and your emotions and your relationships. And then you maybe take on a fresher look and have a change in attitude as you move forward over the next couple of months within relationships, within your family. But I do caution you, and because Mars is in the second house, I do caution you to not take an aggressive stand, but to take a more cordial stand when you're dealing with family and relationships. I don't want you to get aggressive and start combats and conflicts. That's not going to work for you. It's going to be better for you if you take a more subtle stand and try to work with the relationships as opposed to against them. Also, a possibility of a relationship matters with your mother. Also, there could be some health issues related to your mother as well during this time. So be very watchful of that. Nothing serious. I'm just mentioning it because of Venus ruling your fourth house as well. As far as career is concerned, Cancer will be working very hard, extra effort into completing old tasks and old projects and stuff like that, as opposed to starting new things in their careers. As far as career is concerned, I've mentioned before that this is an unstable time for Cancer's career. May have changes due to Saturn being in the 8th house for over a 2-year period. But this month, there's a little bit more instability because Mars aspects Saturn. So as long as, you don't get combative, don't start conflicts at work, your attitude is pleasant, your communication is not very argumentative, it should be okay. So try to keep those at a minimum and make sure you maintain relationships well at work. Don't start arguments and discussions, which you're going to be prone to do this month. So kind of watch your behavior at work. It should be okay. Now, your health actually is status quo, nothing major that is going on. Some of you may have some pain in the legs and feet, or maybe some dental issues, but nothing serious at all. Leo, for July. Leo, your ascendant Lord Sun, will be in the 11th house of material gains and good income for the first half of the month, and then it's going to transit to this 12th house of expenses and losses after the middle of the month. And Mercury is already going to be in the 12th house of expenses. So it looks like that this month is going to be a very finance-focused month for you. It looks like you're going to get good gains, good income, but then you're going to end up spending it all instead of saving it. So do your very best to stay away from impulsive shopping, impulsive spending. Mars is a positive planet for Leo. So in the first house, it brings an element of luck into your life as long as you utilize its energy in a very positive way. You can do this by working extra hard, putting a lot of sincere effort in anything it is that you do. If you have a career, work hard in it. If you just stay at home, then put a lot of effort in all the things that you do at home. Mars represents your body, and when it comes in the first house, a person becomes very obsessed with your body and making sure it's fit and healthy. So having a very good physical exercise regimen and eating very healthy may become a passion with you at this time, and you become very focused on that. A Venus retrograde conjuncting with Mars at this time may have you very focused on your physical body and how you look and your health at this time. Other than that, Venus is going to retrograde in your own ascendant house, and Venus is the ruler of your career. So there's going to be a lot of focus on career and relationships for you as well. You may feel the need to reassess or re-examine your attitude towards your career in terms of financial goals, because you may now have some new information that surfaces that forces you to rethink about these things. This phase may even test you to choose between money or relationships, or there may be a pull between relationships and money. This is going to be a struggle for you. On the positive note, this is a very busy month for you where you will have lots of good energy to get a lot accomplished, whether at home or at work. Health is not an issue this month. Mars is in the first house with aspect from Jupiter, gives you amazing energy and enthusiasm to handle a lot of work with a lot of positive attitude to get a lot of work done. You're going to accomplish so much this month, and by the end of the month, you're going to be rather proud of yourself. The only one guidance I do have for Leo is to watch their temper a little bit, especially at home and with their spouse. Mars in the first house tends to give a little bit of a temper issue. So watch your attitude, behavior towards your spouse. Don't have a temper. That kind of ruins the good impact of Mars that it's going to bring you. And it brings about the more negative impact of Mars. So watch your temper, stay very calm and composed. Do your best to do that. And don't bring up past issues with your spouse and continuously try to start a fight with that. Other than that, watch your spending. Don't spend impulsively or make hasty decisions when spending on large amounts. And the month is good. Utilize this good energy of Mars in your favor. Virgo. For July, Virgo, your ascendant Mercury is going to be racing through 2 zodiacs this month, and you're going to feel this exact same way, as if you are racing and working fast and time is just flying past you. You will be on hyperactive mode, and this month and the amount of work you accomplish will make you exhausted by the time the month is over. Overall, it's a very productive month and a very fruitful month in terms of career. You may receive good rewards and recognition at work. Also, there could be some very positive financial returns on the effort that you've been putting in the past several weeks. This month, you're going to show dedication, discipline, and a very large amount of commitment to your work. Now, those individuals that are retired or don't have formal careers will show the same intensity in getting things actioned at home. So they will forego leisure, and instead they will be intent on getting a lot of things done at home, getting a lot of things accomplished at home. The Sun transits to your 11th house of material gains, and so this means that after mid-month, it's an excellent time from a financial perspective. However, there are 2 planets, Mars and Venus, in the 12th house, the house of expenses. So there's a fair amount of expenses that is also going to occur during the month. So you do have good gains, but there may be sudden expenses that do come up as well. Towards the end of the month, Venus retrogrades in the 12th house. And so this means that past issues in relationships or with old friends can come up. Friends that you haven't been seeing in a long time, or that haven't been part of your life for a very long time, may come back in your life, or you may touch base with them again. This is applicable for July, very late July and August also. It also means that you may have to rethink, reassess your part in the relationship that you've had with these old contacts, how you want to deal with them going forward. So it brings up these issues in your mind, and it makes you think about your part in the relationship and how you want to deal with them going forward. But it certainly brings up some memories and your role in these relationships and how you want to deal with them. Health for Virgo is status quo. The only issue could be that you have the ongoing digestive issues that Virgo has been experiencing, because Jupiter Rahu continue to stay in the 8th house, Ketu is in the 2nd house. This means that these digestive issues are all based on the food that you're consuming at this time. So if you continue to eat healthy, watch your diet, then you could be free from digestive issues. But if you don't pay attention to your diet, you could continue to have or experience some digestive issues. And because you have Venus in the 12th house of travel, they could get a little worse while you're traveling unless you pay very close attention to, like I said, the food that you're eating. Lastly, but certainly not the least, Saturn in the sixth and getting aspected by Mars now. So this disturbs the relationship with your spouse. And this may be because of your attitude and have a little bit of an anger issue. Control your anger, control your communication style. It should be okay, but otherwise there may be a little bit of a conflict within your marriage. So be very watchful of your anger and your communication issues with that. Libra for July. Libra, your ascendant Lord Venus is going through some very challenging transits. It's first going to go through a Gandant crossing, then it's going to go retrograde and go back and forth between the 10th and 11th houses for you. These are the career and finance houses. This could be a very significant time where you retrospect and review how you handle your finances and your career. You're going to completely ignore relationships at this time, and your focus is now going to be so much on your material desires and your financial wishes and how you can attain what it is that you want to attain as far as material desires is concerned. Your main focus is going to be how to grow your career, how to advance in your career, and how to get more money through your income or through whatever it is that you do so your material desires can be fulfilled. My guidance to you at this time is to focus on yourself, your body, and the hard work or any work that you're putting into. It's very important for you to be healthy from an emotional and physical standpoint before you chase after material things or you try to repair relationships. And this is what this retrograde Venus is trying to teach you. After a few months, when the Venus retrograde is over with, Libra is going to be a very changed person emotionally, spiritually, as well as physically. As far as actual career is concerned, luck is on your side. You may find yourself at the right place at the right time. Do your best to maintain a very positive attitude at work and maintain excellent relationships in the workplace. This will prove to be very lucky for you. After mid-month, you get great visibility at work from your seniors, so make sure your work performance is outstanding. This month is also favorable in terms of finance. You get good opportunities for financial growth and increase your savings. As far as health is concerned, health is wonderful. It's okay. And the only minor issue could be an occasional headache, but otherwise you feel fine. Take good care of your diet. The only one issue that I see is that your spouse's health may get impacted a little bit. And as a result, they may not be in a very good mood, and then they may get into small fights and arguments. So try to pay attention to them, take good care of them instead of starting a fight with them. Other than that, relationship with children are going to be very pleasant this month. I see you spending a lot of time as well as a lot of money on them. If in a love relationship, avoid misunderstandings and bringing up old issues to fight about, and try to keep it pleasant and don't try to start, like I said, needless arguments. Overall, if you manage your own attitude and behavior, this can be actually a very, very wonderful, happy month. So this is all about you and how you manage the Venus energy and the Mars conjunction with the Venus. Mars does try to give you a little bit of anger issues, a little bit of extra passion, and sometimes a little bit of a argumentative sort of a behavior when it conjuncts with Venus. But if you are able to manage through that and control that, this month could be a very happy month for you indeed. Also a very profitable, pleasant month for you. Libra has had it a little tough with Ketu being in the first house, but here comes a month that offers you a chance to turn things around and make it a pleasant time. Scorpio for July. Scorpio, your ascendant ruler Mars is in the 10th house of career and it conjuncts with Venus. Your focus this month is going to be on your career and your workplace. Relationships with coworkers are tested. Even your relationship with your seniors may get challenging, especially in the first half of the month. Now, the real challenge really starts when Venus retrogrades later in the month. You feel a very strong push and pull between your career and relationships. These could be your personal as well as professional relationships. You may feel the need to reassess your handling of relationships in the past. A past relationship that perhaps didn't end well may also be bothering you. As far as career is concerned, Scorpio has been facing a lot of hardship with respect to workload, and even some career satisfaction, or I should say dissatisfaction. Some Scorpios have been wanting to change their jobs as a result of this workload or the fact that they've not been perfectly happy in their positions or in their jobs. This is not a good time for that. Some Scorpios may actually have some chance of relocation as well during this phase. As far as finance is concerned, this is a mixed month. A lot of planets in the sixth house make this a very expensive month. Some Scorpios have large debts and may not be very good at financial decisions and planning during this phase. You need to make sure that you plan your finances well and control your spending. Ketu in the 11th house, which is the house of expenses, tends to make a person not use very good ability to make decisions around spending, and so spending just goes on without a thought. And Jupiter and Rahu being in the sixth house tends to make a lot of debt without thinking. So this is a time when I need to counsel Scorpios to make sure they're controlling their spending and not doing needless spending without thinking. This can have far-reaching effects after this transit is over, which could be later in the year. As far as health is concerned, it's much better than it has been. A general feeling of good energy and enthusiasm prevails this month because of the position of Mars. Mars aspects your first house, so you feel very energetic. In fact, you may be also very enthusiastic about taking very good care of your health. As far as relationships are concerned, this phase is one of adjustments and understanding. There's an undercurrent of dissatisfaction in relationships. These could be marital relationships as well as a relationship with your mother. But the Scorpio tendency is always to make things work out, and that's what they're doing. My overall guidance this month is to make things work out in the workplace. Manage your relationships in the workplace, especially with seniors. Sudden things can happen. But again, getting along with people at work is very important, and that's going to be the focus this month. Sagittarius for July. Sagittarius, your ascendant Lord Jupiter has had a nakshatra change, and its new nakshatra ruler is Venus. So this month, your ascendant Lord Jupiter aspects the Venus-Mars conjunction in the 9th house of luck. This is a very fortunate month for you in terms of personal energy, happiness at home, and financial gains. Also, this could be a promising time in terms of getting rewards and recognition in your career. Luck is going to favor you in terms of financial gains and also saving money. The retrograde Venus with Mars in the 9th house impacts your thinking and attitude in terms of your health and body. There could be an obsession, so to speak, about being healthy enough so that you go to extremes to pursue good health. Lots of Sagittarius at this time may have extreme workout regimens, physical regimens. They may take care of a lot of their diet and what they eat. So there's going to be an excessive worry about how physically fit they are. So that's what I mean about obsessiveness about good health. As far as career is concerned, you may be expected to work extra hard, but there could also be sudden changes with it. Don't forget, Mercury, which is not a very friendly planet for Sagittarius, is in the 8th house, which means sudden changes. The issue could be your communication style and your relationship with your coworkers, especially after mid-month when the sun moves in there as well. So the guidance for you is to make sure that you work hard, you manage your communication really well with coworkers as well as your seniors, and don't take on an egoistic approach with, especially with seniors or with coworkers, because like I said, there could be sudden changes and those changes may not be very favorable for you. As far as health is concerned, I've already kind of spoken about it, but it's extremely favorable month for that because Jupiter aspects your first house. It's your ascendant Lord. And whenever Jupiter aspects the first house, it gives great energy, but it also gives a very positive aura and a general feeling of happiness. This month is also a very happy month for Sagittarius because of the trine relationship between Venus and Jupiter. So a lot of good times for those people that are have a love relationship, and also people that have children are going to enjoy a lot of good times with their children or with your love relationship. Your children will do really well as well. So definitely a very positive month for Sagittarius. A fun month as well. But my guidance is don't have so much fun that you ignore your career and your work. So make sure you maintain the perfect balance of having fun and also taking good care of your career and workload. Capricorn for July. Capricorn, your ascendant Lord Saturn is retrograde in the second house of family and finance. And now this month it has a mutual aspect of the Venus-Mars conjunction from the 8th house. Mars is not friendly to Saturn, so there may be some challenges related to finance this month, and there also may be some issues within the family. So the financial challenges are related to your career in that you may have to work harder, or you may encounter delays and obstacles in your career as far as financial rewards and recognition are concerned. So you may find yourself working harder, but if you've been waiting for some rewards, recognition, it's not going to happen this month. Most likely it might happen in the future. And if you have a business, there could be lower profitability this month. Now, although if you have been waiting for any monetary settlements of some of the unearned income types, like insurance claims or inheritance, then this month is very favorable for settlement of that kind. Now, retrograde Venus later in the month is going to test relationships, and that's what I mean by challenges within the family. And so what this means is that there could be within the family, somebody could bring up past issues, unresolved issues from the past, and then want to discuss them again. And that will make you want to reassess your role in those relationships or how you handle them. And so it's going to make you reassess how you fit into issues in the past, how you handle them, and then you may want to review your relationships going forward, how you deal with them going forward. So this month, towards the later part of the month, urges you to relook at your relationships within the family, the extended family structure. And so I've already mentioned a little bit about the career, meaning, there's going to be an extra burden you're going to have to carry. You're going to have a lot more responsibility put on you. And so you're going to be expected to work a lot more harder, but you may not see any rewards this month. They may come later. And the work might be things from the past that keep coming up, and your supervisor is expecting that you continue to complete pending work at this time. And the rewards and the financial rewards coming much later. And so speaking of health, because of the overwork factor, there's going to be a fair amount of fatigue and a feeling of tiredness or low on energy, but mostly the possibility of digestive issues, and that's going to be because of eating habits. Saturn is in the second house, so the tendency to eat stale food or to not eat on time may contribute to digestive issues. But if you can take care of your diet, then you should probably be good on the health issue. After mid-month, the sun in the 7th house can cause some egoistic conflict with your spouse. Do your best to avoid that, but keep communication pleasant as possible, because Mercury is also going to be there, and Mercury rules our communication, our speech. So as long as your communication is pleasant and not egoistic, this shouldn't be a very big problem at all. And I apologize, I have not been able to say a lot of positive things about Capricorn, but sometimes, based on planetary positions for a short time, there could be a challenging few weeks for certain ascendant signs. So I guess this time it's Capricorn. So there really is no need to get disheartened, and also that you can manage these transits by whatever I'm telling you. Watch your communication, don't get angry, don't start fights, and then it should just go well. So these are short-term transits, and as long as you're able to manage your own self and your energy, these things really don't bother anybody at a serious level at all. Aquarius for July. Aquarius, your ascendant ruler Saturn is retrograde in your own ascendant house, and it impacts you in several different ways, the most powerful being at the physical body level. You may feel low on energy and also lethargic, along with having no desire to do anything exciting or start anything new. Also, some Aquarius may have some old health issues that resurface now as well. Although the Mars aspect from the 7th house on Saturn helps in healing from these issues as well. On the career front, this is somewhat of a mixed month, but it's definitely a hardworking month. There will be lots of pressure to perform well, and the first half of the month, there's the possibility of very good recognition as well as financial benefits. And the aspect of Mars is going to be on your career house. Your career house is ruled by Mars, so that's a wonderful aspect. Although the second half of the month is a little bit of a different story because the sun moves to the sixth house. So that means not only means high expenses, but it also is a tough time with relationships at work, in the workplace, with coworkers. It's not a good idea to get into conflicts with anybody at work, coworkers, as well as your superiors. So as far as possible, avoid any egoistic conflicts and arguments and discussions at work with anybody at work, coworkers, as well as your seniors. This is also not a favorable time to get into any conflicts or battle with any government type of organization, because that might not end well, and that's because the sun represents government organizations. Venus will retrograde at the end of the month and in the seventh house. And then there's going to be pressure to spend time and put a lot of effort in maintaining a good relationship with your spouse. At the same time, you have the burden of a lot of work that needs to get done in your career or profession. So your challenge will be in how you maintain your work and your personal life balance. So this is a time when your relationship gets tested, your ability to work at the same time gets tested. And then that's choices that you're going to have to make in how do you manage your work-life balance, especially your relationship at home, as opposed to how you manage the workload in your career. Love life or even relationship with your children are going to also have some difficulty because the other person may get some mood swings and you may have the tendency to lose your patience with them. Obviously, that's not such a great idea. Try your best to be understanding of the other person so your relationships don't get damaged, don't have conflicts with them. The second half of the month is also going to be an expensive time for you. So control your impulsive spending and definitely don't try to get into a situation where you incur a lot of credit card debt or take on too many loans. The sixth house is activated, which means all those things. So stay out of trouble as far as excessive spending is concerned. Aquarius, you can turn this month into a very positive career month if you're able to juggle your career and relationships and keep your expenses under control. This could actually end up being a very positive month for you. Pisces for July. Pisces, your ascendant Lord Jupiter has now transited to a new nakshatra that is ruled by Venus. Venus is in the sixth house and conjuncts with Mars. Jupiter is in the second house, which represents family and finance. The sixth house energy relates to your health, workplace. And so this is the month which focuses on income and career. It will seem like you are facing some challenges regarding relationships at work. There could also be delays in getting a promotion or rewards of your hard work that you've been doing for the last several months. Some Pisces people may also have a job change in this time frame. Business owners may also find that competition is a little more fierce at this time and their profitability may be status quo or just a little bit less than usual. From a financial perspective, it's been an expensive phase for Pisces, and that phase continues. But this month, the guidance is not to overextend yourself in terms of borrowings or credit card debt or loans. There's going to be a tendency to do that because of the sixth house activation by Mars and Venus. Health could be up and down because Mars in the sixth house actually gives very good healing and recovery energy. But Venus, especially a retrograde Venus later in the month, tends to give fatigue, coughs, and then actually pain in the legs as well. Overall, Pisces may go through some mental stress and worry. For those Pisces individuals that maybe are retired or don't have formal careers, then the month could be very focused on the extended family matters. You may find yourself working very hard to maintain those extended family relationships, or there could be matters that come up that take your energy in handling the extended family issues. Now, this doesn't mean just at the emotional level, but you also may be asked to help out or provide some support to somebody in the family that requires a little bit of support or some kind of help from you. In the later part of the month, when Venus is retrograde in the sixth house, it may bring back some old health issues. So the guidance for Pisces is to take very good care of their health. Eat healthy. Make sure you eat a diet that agrees with you. And that helps a lot. Meditation helps a lot, not only with your emotional health, but also physical health. And having a physical exercise regimen also helps the physical body, but also it helps you emotionally and mentally heal and make you less stressed. Now, this physical exercise regimen doesn't have to be a heavy workout. It could be light yoga or even taking a walk on a daily basis. The good news for Pisces is that your spouse could be very supportive during this time, and you could actually spend some very good times together. This is also a positive time for a relationship with children, spending some fun time with your children, as well as a love relationship. This is also positive for that. Now, if somebody is looking for a love relationship, this is a good month to find somebody as well. Overall guidance is don't let your career stress you out. Stay healthy and enjoy some good family time with your spouse and children or your love life. This brings me to the end of my video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Goodbye for now. I'll see you on my next video.